lap formed up. Brocky hasn't done that, and the field is now set. We're only about 15 seconds away. There's Wayne Gardner, Larry Perkins and the Castrol Commodore alongside. And we expect a blinder here from John Bowe, but the start is going to be critical for all of them. 10 seconds away on a wet Sunday afternoon at Sandown. Set to go. Racing. Perkins wins it by a country mile, and Jimmy Richards goes down the outside, but that's no passing routine to make it into the first corner, because Gardner switches right across the racetrack to cover the bets and goes in, but he's probably got in a bit on the deep side. Crompton in amongst them. Dick Johnson is there, and Larry Perkins fishtailing as he comes out of there. And we've had one of the PJ cars go off. It's Glenn Seaton, the number 30 car. He is having a terrible day, almost as woeful as last year. So Seaton goes out after coming together with another car, but Perkins picks up the pace as Jimmy Richards tries to get alongside Wayne Gardner, and will get the run up the back straight. So already Jimmy Richards is on the move.
Big start from Jim Richards, launched off the second line, pushed his way through the pack, and here they are side by side as they come across the top for the first time. He pushes through on Gardner. So Richards up to second position. Larry leads him down to Dandenong Road for the first time, but Gardner's not going to get without a fight. He ducks onto the back of the Winfield Commodore as they come through. Then it's Bowe, and it looks like Greg Crick. A great start from him in the second Castrol Holden.
Very aggressive driving there by Richards. A fabulous start, and he just got the ground covered that he needed. Couldn't quite exercise the advantage to the first corner, but here he is now pressing Larry. Well, tough break for Glenn.
Yeah, certainly is, but that race is over in the first corner. That's an identical situation to what happened last year when he went off. Gardner's car gets sideways and jerks out of that turn as they come and work the front straight here at Sandown before a packed grandstand. Longhurst pulled to the inside, but Gardner's car has got a fair turn of speed. The Coke machine still running in second, and Larry starting to just open up a small gap over Jimmy Richards.
I'll tell you what, last time around too, Tony Longhurst was the fastest man on the circuit, the first to dip into the 1 minute 24 second barrier, so he's getting plenty of speed out of this Castrol Falcon.
Yeah, that's 1:24 seconds versus a pole time of 1:12.8 in the dry, so about 12 seconds difference is about normal. 10 to 12 seconds is the differential when it's raining.
Here comes Wayne Gardner, has more than a look up the outside, gets a little bit friendly there with Richards. He's got plenty of poke, no shortage of grunt from the Coke Chevy in a straight line. Just wait till these guys get their new engines for Simmons planes. They'll be like absolute rockets, I'd imagine.
The interesting thing is just watch Longhurst starting to come into the equation. Richards started like a house on fire, but has gone back. He's dropping back through the pack so early in the race as Gardner makes the first move, passes Richards, and it won't be long before Tony Longhurst is down the inside of Gentleman Jim.
Jim does seem to have faded a bit. He may have a car problem, but whatever it is, he's being gobbled up here fairly...
very, very neatly too, Alan. Yeah,
right,
very smooth move on the inside by Longhurst there. Covers his tracks as they switch back onto the main straight once again. So it's two Dunlop shod cars and two Yokohama shod cars in the first four, and the two Dunlop shod Shell cars. And the track conditions are changing. It's not quite as wet as the first heat, and if the rain holds off for a few more laps yet, we may see a dry line emerging. So now the two Shell cars, John Bowe and Dick Johnson, move up behind Jimmy Richards. Jimmy must be in trouble here. He's slipping back through the pack. His time slipping down too. Last time around a 1:27.4, so the car getting very taily, as you can see there. Perhaps lacking a bit of
might have lost a cylinder. It could be engine that's just sort of putting the damper on his straight line speed.
Yeah.
He's still reasonably fast through the corners, but here we've got John Bowe saying, if you don't mind, mate, here I come.
How close do you want to be? Tries to get the slingshot off the back of the Winfield Chevy. He's done it too. Moves all up on the outside, covers his tracks as they come down to his very fast part of the circuit. John Bowe trying to make up for that accident he had on the first corner of the first heat.
You'll never want to watch the replay of that because that sport what could have been a blue ribbon day for the Shell FAI team. However, still plenty of racing to go in the second heat with Perkins out in front. Second spot being held by Wayne Gardner, and the man on the move that we're watching is, of course, Tony Longhurst. Now, Dick Johnson, we've been watching, carries our Dunlop race camp.
Jim's gone into the fence.
Enough of this, he said. Whatever it is, he feels he might be able to get it fixed in a hurry. He's coming in fast enough.
Someone of Jim Richards' calibre and his proven skills, are they going to change the tyres?
Oh, well.
They've been struggling for grip there. Certainly the car was getting very taily, particularly under power, trying to put the power down the slower corners here. New rubber goes on.
It really has stopped raining, and with this being a 28-lap heat, tire choices towards half distance or even a little later.
Well, Jimmy had no choice. It looks like he's gone back onto a full wet once again. The track is still certainly wet enough for that. Gets back into the race. That'll drop him right down the order.
There's Wayne Gardner, the Co-Commodore, having a great day. He's deserved one of these for a while.
Yes, they've worked hard all year and not necessarily with the results they would have liked last year, but I think they've served notice here today that they're going to be a force to be dealt with this season, 95.
I think the really telling thing in that interview he had with Andy just before the race, he said in the first heat, I'm just trying to stay out of trouble. Like, just keep the car straight, keep it clean and undamaged, and just keep racking up those points. That's the way you win the championship.
Got to finish to win. You've got to finish.
Tony Longhurst. Just see the next time around, but the visual gap seems to be closing. He is absolutely storming through the field in this Falcon.
He's going to give David Scanlon from Castrol a great day here. If his first appearance, he can get up and run second to Larry Perkins in the second heat. There's the gap as Longhurst again works all that spray to the inside of the circuit. Perkins goes through, Wayne Gardner, then it's Tony Longhurst, John Bowers next, followed by Dick Johnson. That's the running order. The Ford starting to get a little bit closer to the tail of the Commodore.
And
look at the water
still
there.
Plenty of water everywhere.
If your tyres do heat up, there's a couple of spots on this racetrack that will cool them down ever so quickly.
Very quickly, mate.
A couple of the other cars, you notice, have been fairly taily out of the corners as they snap the power on. The Longhurst car, not so much. He's been driving it very straight, feeding the power on.
He really has been concentrating on chassis setup this weekend, and no doubt he had to play around with the car in between since the last heat. The car seems to be behaving itself far more. It looked fairly unruly in the first heat. It was getting very physical with it, but the car just seems to be working much better. Bow, meanwhile, is
also working
increasing
very
the
well.
pressure. Yeah. So Longhurst, with his mirrors full of Shell FAI, as he tries to close the gap on Gardner, at the same time defend his position from Bow. Difficult job in these wet conditions.
Well, he started off making inroads on Gardner in the last 2 laps. He's been more content in trying to fight off John Bow, and Gardner's got away by a car length again.
Well, that's interesting. Look at the drive out of that corner. He's obviously springing out of the corner fairly well, and then when he gets to the straight line, he holds his own with the Shell FII4, but Bow takes advantage of the draft. He goes to look down the outside, come under the bumps into turn 1. Let's see if he can do anything. Oh, he gets a little bit sideways on the brakes.
That was only to let John know, no, don't have a go there.
Obviously wary of coming off there in the first
well
lap.
done.
He sneaks up the
well
inside.
done. Here he is. He's done it. That was extremely good move.
Maintaining the pressure.
Nicely capitalizing on the initial move that he tried to set up at the end of the straight, which was difficult for anybody.
Well, you can see he's continuing that momentum now. We've got one of the cars in the pits. Is that Brocky? Yeah. Peter Brock in trouble. Having a wretched day, starting from pit lane for the second heat. And looks like new tyres going onto the car. A bit of a brief chat with the engineer, Ron Harrop, there. Not in a great rush.
Not breaking their neck with that one. They wouldn't want to be doing that at Bathurst.
So Brock will lights him up on his way back into the race, but well down the order right now. I think he's back in 16th position before he came to the pits that time. Here's our race leader, Larry Perkins, still in control, and you can see the track is drying out. He's brought it down into the 23-second bracket now, 1:23.7 the last time around. So the track and a dry line certainly emerging here.
And may even have to start looking for a wet line again. It could get too dry and the tires get too hot.
They head down, Larry Perkins. There you can see Longhurst. Once again, he's been chasing the wet groove. Checking them out for you on the Shell race score. Larry Perkins leads race number 2. Wayne Gardner runs second. John Bowers third. Tony Longhurst fourth. And rounding off all those forwards, Dick Johnson in fifth.